geek over at Sales Qualia, where we help early stage B2B startups ramp up and scale up their sales process. Today's video, what we're going to talk about is Sales Accelerator number 4. We're going to talk about demos, product demos. So let me just ask you if this might sound familiar. You get somebody who's interested in your product, you schedule in 45 minutes, an hour, team shows up or the person that requested the product demo shows up. You hop on the call, you try to ask a few quick questions to understand their situation, but most of the time, those 60 minutes that you're spending is clicking through 75 clicks, explaining why the buttons are blue, talking about every integration. And then most of all, at the end of that product demo, what happens? You get a bunch of applause. People say, that's really great. Can you send me a one-pager? Can you send me a proposal? Can I get a recording so I can share it with the rest of the team? And then we'll get back to you. Is that how your product demos are going? I'm guessing for a lot of you out there and for you individually, might be something that's happening to you. And so this is why I want to teach you about the importance of having a demo design system. You have to have a demo design system because when you're doing your demos the right way, they're short, they're focused on your customers' problems, and most importantly, they are a catalyst to the next stage in your sales process. Demo is not a stage in the sales process. If in your CRM right now you have stage, demo, and you've got 5 or 6 or 10 opportunities listed in there as a demo stage, you're doing it wrong. So I'm going to show you why you want to do it the right way and give you a really easy framework that you can use right away to change the way you're running your product demos to make them more effective, to identify who's a real lead and who's not, and most importantly, move to a later stage in your sales process as quickly as possible, okay? So first of all, let's talk about the product demo from a timeline standpoint. Hey, Eric, good to see you, man. Listen, let's talk about the timeline, okay? So the timeline here on my screen, it represents, let's call it a 4-week period. And so we got week number 1, week number 2, week 3, week 4. And if you're like a lot of sales leaders out there, if you're like a lot of companies out there, you might have a requested demo on your website. You might have somebody that's responding back to your outbound emails. You might have somebody that maybe requests a demo after they've seen a webinar or something like that. And here's the thing. First of all, for most of us, you're allowing people to request a demo on a really short notice, like maybe 24 hours notice, right? They come to your website, they click request a demo, and you've got this Calendly page of some kind. And, it's Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and your prospects are able to request a demo for Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, right? So you've got this product demo happening without any time at all, right? So first of all, what you want to do is give yourself some space and time. And so let's just imagine a situation where we can push that product demo out to, 10 days from now, right? This is the demo. So one of the things you're going to notice now is that product demo, it's just this little sliver of time. That product demo, that meeting is 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. But here's the thing about your product demos. And this is why if you do them the right way, it's not about your product. And this is why demo is not a stage in your sale, okay? The magic of running your demos the right way is that the selling happens before and after the demo. And here's what I mean by this. If you're running the demos the right way, by giving yourself some space and time before your demos, you can then implement a critical part of your sales process, which is Sales Accelerator number 3. Your lead qualification strategy. You've got to know, is this lead qualified? Number 1, do they have the problem? What's the needs analysis that you've done? Even if they are qualified, have you done the right level of needs analysis? Have you done discovery calls? Have you identified each of the buyer types? Have you gotten each buyer type's perspective? I mean, let's face it, if you're selling to the enterprise, you know that there's going to be multiple people involved with the evaluation and the decision as to whether or not to move forward with your product. And if you've got a single person that's requesting a demo, that's a great start. And you want to have that conversation and you want to get that perspective of that one person. But in order for your demos to run the right way, you've got to do needs analysis, customer discovery, and qualification across the organization. And so by pushing your demos out a couple of weeks, what this does is it buys you time to have those conversations so that when you get into the demo, you can focus on the customer's problems, which is what they care about, not your product. Okay. Now, the second part of your demo that's important is, again, not the demo itself. Yeah. And I'll get to in just a moment. I'm going to teach you a really easy framework that you can use to manage that 30-minute or 60-minute call, that demo that you do have. But it's not the demo that matters. It's what happens after the demo. Because if you do the demo the right way, if you show how your product solves the problems that your prospects have, then the next part of your sales process is all around implementation. It's all around answering questions and objections and making sure that you can integrate with your customers. So the real magic of running your demos the right way is that it's not about those 30 minutes or those 60 minutes. It's about everything that you're doing before the demo and everything that you're setting yourself up to do after the demo. So this is the very first change that you need to make in your mindset when it comes to your product demo. It's not about your product. It's about your customers' problems and how you're going to implement to help them solve those problems. That's step number one that you have to make. That's the change you have to make. When you're thinking about demo design as a system, the demo itself isn't that important. What matters is the work you're doing before and after. Okay. So now step two is, okay, so for those 30 minutes, for those 60 minutes, and I've got time blocked off. I've got time in the calendar. Let's imagine, I'm just going to draw a square here. And let's imagine the square represents the time block that you have for your demo, right? So we'll just make this easy. We'll call it a 60-minute demo. Now, again, if you're like most companies out there and you've been on the receiving end of these demos, you've been a buyer, you are a buyer every single day. You're going out looking at different platforms as a company founder, as a sales leader, right? How many times have you've scheduled a product demo, you've opened up that Zoom link, and you're like, all right, get my popcorn, get my coffee. I got to dig in because I got 60 minutes. I got to watch the show all about how this company is going to click through all these features, click through all the buttons, tell me why the buttons are blue and not red, talk about all the integration, show me how to log in, show me all the cool stuff, most of which, 90% of that stuff, I don't even care about, right? You know this is true. We've all sat in those demos. You've probably sat in one of those demos in the last couple of weeks. And maybe you've actually given one of those demos in the last couple of weeks. So what I'm going to show you is how you need to change the way you're structuring that 60-minute demo that you have. And whether it's 60 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes, this framework is going to scale based on the amount of time that you have. So in that 60-minute demo, what I want you to do is think about this simple framework, and I call it confirm, show, explore. Confirm, show, explore. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide this 60-minute block into three parts. The first part is confirm, the second part is show, the third part is explore. And so let's just use some basic geometry here and start dividing up this time. And what we'll see is that about 10% of that 60-minute meeting is going to be your confirm piece. About 30 to 40% is going to be your show. And you can also think of this as your ask piece, and I'll explain that in just a moment. And then the last 50% is your explore piece. So let me talk to you about what I mean by confirm, show, explore. So when you're getting into that product demo, again, if you're designing your demo process the right way, you should have already done lead qualification. You should have already done customer discovery and needs analysis, not just for one person, but the entire team to which you are selling. And so one of the most important things we have to do is confirm the information that we've collected in those discovery calls, in those lead qualification calls, in those needs analysis calls, to make sure that everybody that's in that demo is actually on the same page. We've got an entire system around this that we teach our clients. We've had guest experts like Peter Cohan come in and teach our clients exactly how to run this confirm piece. There's a really specific strategy that you need to run in order to make sure that you're succinctly gathering up the information from your prospects and then pulling that information into a very succinct way and summarizing to make sure that you're 100% clear and your prospects are 100% clear on what Peter, my friend Peter, calls a critical business issue. So that's step number one. We need to confirm all the information that we've collected. So now if you're asking yourself, like, well, wait a minute, if I just have a request the demo page and somebody on a Thursday afternoon can click and request a demo on a Friday afternoon, how am I going to collect any kind of information? That's the point. That's exactly the point. You can't collect information if you're letting people just book a demo, right? I talked yesterday about lead qualification. Just because people request a demo doesn't mean they get a demo. They've got to earn it. They have to deserve the demo. That's why we have lead qualification as sales accelerator number 3, which precedes sales accelerator number 4 that we're talking about here, demo design, right? So step number 1 is we need to confirm what we've learned in our discovery and needs analysis piece. Now, step number 2, we're taking 30 or 40% of our time for this section, right? So if we got a 60-minute meeting here, 10%, we'll just round it. We'll call it 5 to 10 minutes. Technically it's 6 minutes. Let's call it 5 to 10 minutes of that demo time that you've got of 60 minutes should be spent confirming the information that you've collected. Now, the next 30% or up to 40% is where you're showing the product. And specifically, we're not giving what Peter calls the harbor tour. We're not clicking around and showing every feature and functionality and explaining all the integrations and why you designed the UI the way you did, right? What we're doing here is showing specifically how your product solves the problems and the critical business issue that the team that you've talked with has shared with you in the previous stage, right? And so if we're imagining this 30 or 40% as part of a 60-minute block, that's about 20 minutes. We'll just call it 20 minutes, right? At most. So this is, you also notice I call this show or ask. So you shouldn't be spending 20 minutes just like clicking around. It's show the product as it relates to the problem and then ask questions. Allow them to ask questions, right? Turn it into a conversation. Because again, we've all been in those 60-minute demos where you sit down, open up Zoom, and the person on the other side is like talking away, feeling the need to fill up all 60 minutes. And at minute number 57, they're almost out of breath. Okay, so that's the entire product. What do you think? You haven't even had a chance to ask a question along the way. And now the one thing that they showed you back in like 40 minutes ago that you wanted to ask about, you didn't get a chance to because the person's just talking through because they got to get through the demo. They got to show you every feature, every integration, explain why the buttons are blue and not red, right? So we want to keep this part concise. The third piece, the explore piece, this is where you get to future pace and you get to pull your prospects into the later stage of your sales process, right? I talked about this earlier, but demo is not a stage. Demo is an event, it's a conversation, and it should be as quick as possible as a catalyst to the next part of the sales process. And so you absolutely have to make sure you're budgeting at least 50% of the time that you have scheduled in your demo to talk about next steps. That's why we call it explore. You have to spend that time exploring next steps and making sure that you're clear, what I call open loops. What are the next steps coming out of this product demo so that you have a really clear mutual action plan with your prospect so that you're not in a situation which is you get lots of applause, great job, send me a one-pager, send me a proposal, can I get a recording, and then we'll get back to you. Because when you do that, you play that 3-month game of chase the prospect. You send the proposal, and then they say they'll get back to you. And you know when they get back to you? When does a prospect get back to you? They get back to you on the 19th. They get back to you on the 19th of never. And the reason they never get back to you is because you showed the product, you showed the demo, they asked for the proposal, and they had no intention of buying in the first place. And it's not until you pester them for 3 straight months that they finally do get back to you because they feel bad enough that they led you on for 3 straight months. And they go, you know what, thanks for sending the proposal. I shared it with the team. I ran it up the flagpole. I talked to my boss and they said, we don't have the budget. Thanks very much. I really appreciate your time. You did such a great job in the demo. Thanks so much. Keep us posted. Check back with me in Q. Never. Right? And so if you're not scheduling that time, if you're not allocating that time in your product demo to talk about those next steps, then how are you going to keep control of the sale? You're not going to. You're going to be stuck hoping that the buyer will lead you to those next steps that you want to take. So in your product demo, you have to allocate this time. So I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to give you a really simple script. So you can write this down. Like, write down the script. This is how you own the meeting. This is how you keep control of the demo. And this is only going to work if you've done the right work ahead of time. If you've done lead qualification, if you've done the customer discovery calls, if you've done the needs analysis, if you know 100% that this prospect has the problem that you can solve. And secondly, this only works if you know what those next steps need to be coming out of that product demo. Who are the people you need to speak with? What are the integrations that need to get examined? What are the procurement questions that you know people are going to have, right? And so the way you want to run this confirm, show, explore framework is really simple. At the start of the call, thanks very much, everyone. Really appreciate your time. I've got us down for a 60-minute demo. And in my experience, this is how I found is the best way for us to use each other's time. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to spend about 5 or 10 minutes just confirming all of the information that you and everyone here has shared with me. Thank you so much for your time over the last couple of weeks so I could gather requirements and understand exactly what your perspective is on the problem that you guys have. So we're going to spend 5 or 10 minutes just to make sure we're all on the same page. Then let's spend about 20 minutes where I'm going to show you the key pieces and parts of our product that specifically address the core problems that you shared with me and the critical business issues. And during that time, I'm going to ask you to ask me questions. So I want this to be a conversation. I don't want this to be, hey, get your popcorn and I'm going to do all the clicking, right? I'm going to show you some stuff and I'm going to expect you to ask some questions just to make sure that we're 100% on the same page. And what that's going to do is leave us about 30 minutes at the end, because if you're anything like all of the other prospects that we work with and all of our customers, all the other customers that we have, coming out of this, after I show you how the product's going to work for you, you're going to have a bunch of questions that we're going to make sure. We need to make sure that we have a really clear plan on how to answer those questions. And some of those questions might be around integrations. They might be around risk and security. They might be around how many people to go live with. They might be around whether or not you can do a pilot. So that we don't get to the end of our 60 minutes and leave those questions unanswered, let's just make sure we allocate a good 20 or 30 minutes at the end so that we can answer those questions and talk about next steps. How's that sound? Now, end of role play. If you're on a product demo for a product that you think that you want to buy, and the salesperson begins the conversation like that with you, how are you going to feel? I don't know about you, but I feel freaking relieved that finally somebody is listening to me, they're engaging in a conversation, and most importantly, they're taking control. Because I'm tired of making decisions every day. I want somebody to be the professional. You're the one that's selling this product every day. You should know how to sell your thing. It shouldn't be left to me, the buyer, to kind of figure out how to buy this. And so follow this framework, confirm, show, explore. And if you want some more help with each and every part of this exact process, because number one, there's a lot of pieces here that are part of your demo design. And so number one is making sure, are you doing lead qualification the right way, which is sales accelerator number 3? Are you doing needs analysis, customer discovery? Are you doing those calls and conversations? Have you identified the right buyer types? Are you really clear about the value proposition? Are you clear about how to get to the critical business issue or the director level objective that you're trying to solve? Like, if you need some help on that, we can help you there. Number 2 is in this framework itself, running the demo, doing the confirm piece, making sure you're gathering the requirements the right way and running and structuring this meeting the right way. That's number 2. And thirdly, which is most important, making sure that you've got a really clear path, a work plan of action, a mutual action plan with your prospects so that you can keep control, give them a lot more clarity, and give you a lot more confidence that you're going to be able to convert more deals. So that's it for now. If you want some help with this, send me a DM, shoot me an email, Scott@salesqualia, Qualia. We'll hop on a quick chat with me or somebody on my team. I can understand more about your situation, more about how you're running your demos or any other parts of the 9 sales accelerators, give you some quick advice. And then if it seems like there's a way for us to help you implement some of these systems, then we can always talk about how that works. But most importantly, if you want to just get a little bit more help, swap a few ideas and help you improve and start thinking about your demos the right way, then let's grab some time. Send me a DM, shoot me an email, and we'll book in a quick call. All right, that's it for now. Sales Accelerator number 4, demo design.